Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's wonderful to see so much strong interest in the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund Strategic Elements second round. My name's Kylie Walker. I'm the CEO of the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering, ATSE. And I'm delighted to be co-hosting today's session with my collaborator, Anna Maria Arabia, who's the Chief Executive of the Academy of Science, and with Richard Samuels, who's General Manager of International Science and Resources at the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, which is the funding body for this program. We are very, very pleased, as I said, to see the strong level of interest that this has generated. So thanks again for joining us today and welcome. As we do gather for this presentation from different places around Australia and the world, I first want to acknowledge the traditional owners and pay my respects to their elders from the countries from which you are all joining us, and acknowledge any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who join us today. Dara Nuna, Dara Nunawal, Yangu Nalamanyin, Dunimanyin, Nunawalwari, Dawawari, Dindi, Wangirali Jinyin. I am joining you today from Ngunnawal country, and today we here as the co-hosts are meeting on Ngunnawal country, and we acknowledge and pay our respects to the elders. I also recognise traditional knowledge and the deep history of innovation that it embodies. So ATSE, the Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering, is a learned academy, and we are an independent non-government organisation. We have a diverse fellowship of around 900 of Australia's leading applied scientists, technologists and engineers, and we celebrate excellence in science, technology, engineering and mathematics in a range of ways, including by appointing accomplished fellows, making national awards to innovators, and equipping the next generation with skills to build a better Australia and world. Like the other learned academies, we also provide independent evidence-based advice to decision makers. In this year, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, and we're looking forward to contributing to the future of science, technology and engineering in Australia, including through this program, the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund Strategic Element, and by gathering leaders in applied science, technology and engineering from around the world in Brisbane in September. In this global environment shaped by rapid technological change and strategic competition, international cooperation, we believe, has never been more important to tackle our shared global challenges. And Australia's key challenges are actually also global challenges. Tackling climate change and transitioning to clean energy, resilience to emerging diseases, the evolution of modern manufacturing, advanced digital technologies, these are all both shared challenges and shared opportunities. So we understand that meaningful collaboration with our international partners opens those new opportunities and builds new knowledge, as well as providing strategic pathways to ensure that our innovations are applied in the real world. ATSE is very proud to be leading this Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund strategic element in collaboration with the Australian Academy of Science. And as I mentioned, the fund is fully supported by the Australian Department of Industry, Science and Resources. I was delighted to join the Minister for Industry and Science, the Honourable Ed Husic, in Singapore, along with Anna Maria in December, to jointly announce the outcomes of the first round. 9 projects were funded, and that was equivalent to around $6 million across the 9 projects. In this second round, we're offering $6.3 million in total to support Australian research, development and commercialisation activities to thrive in key priority areas and in collaboration with strategically important nations to Australia. The grants are from between $100,000 to $1 million across key priority themes, and they're focused on advanced technology. As mentioned, these projects must be delivered in collaboration with partners in priority nations, and you'll see and hear a little bit more about that very soon. The Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund represents an excellent opportunity to support Australian science and technology to thrive and to work together with global neighbours and other collaborators to build mutual capacity and to ensure a strong and thriving future. This program is deliberately framed to strengthen our diplomatic ties, to fuel long-term economic growth and to nurture our STEM talent, both here in Australia and in our global region. So today is designed to provide an overview of the grants program, including all of the key information that you will need to understand the opportunity and submit a high quality application. We will be recording this session and it's going to be online afterwards if you need to revisit it or want to share it with any of your partners. And my co-hosts and I intend to provide an overview of the fund and the objectives, the priority themes and the role of international partners. We'll discuss eligibility and the application process and then address some frequently asked questions. If you haven't already read the grant guidelines, I do encourage you to do that. They outline the parameters for the program and there are detailed answers to the frequently asked questions about GLODIP as well. If you have listened to this session and have read the guidelines and the FAQs and you still have questions, and we'll remind you again at the end of the session of these contact details, you can always email the team, and the email address is info@glodip.org.au, and you can see glodip.org.au at the bottom of that screen, so info at that address. ATSI is, of course, very pleased to be working together with the department and our colleagues from the Australian Academy of Science. So I'm now going to hand over to Anna Maria Arabia, the Chief Executive of the Academy of Science.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Kylie, for that overview. I'm really pleased that so many people are showing interest in attending this information session. Just very quickly, the Australian Academy of Science, as Kylie has said, is working in partnership with ATSI to deliver the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund, the strategic element component of that. We are also a learned academy established 70 years ago. We are independent and a non-government organisation. The Australian Academy of Science brings together around 600 of Australia's most distinguished scientists in the natural sciences, and we draw on their extraordinary expertise to champion science for the benefit of all. Our aim is to bring science to the service of the nation, and when we do that, we are able to strengthen not just our nation, but our region. We were established in 1954, as I said, 70 years ago, and we have had a focus and engagement in international collaboration since our inception. It's these decades of experience in both bilateral and multilateral scientific engagement that means that we have many durable links across our region and across the world. Part of strengthening our regional capability is our leadership of the International Science Council regional focal point, which for Asia and the Pacific, which I know many would be aware of and have engaged with. We're absolutely delighted to be partnering with ATSI to deliver the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund because of our joint interest and commitment to international scientific collaboration and diplomacy, particularly at a time when it is sorely needed. We have a commitment to this program and to other global initiatives. Importantly, both of our academies bring enormous rigour to the assessment process because we are independent organisations and non-government organisation, and because we are able to draw on our fellowships who bring an unbiased perspective to their assessment of applications and are able to apply the rigour that they practice every day in assessing them. It is one of the key reasons for our involvement in this program. As we all know, science and technology thrive through responsible international exchange, through shared experience, and through access to global research infrastructure. By bridging science and industry, the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund ensures that research partners, their work can translate into real-world impact, supporting economic growth and technological development in Australia and across our region. We had such a high quality level of applications in the first round. I expect no less in this second round, but it does absolutely show the demand for this sort of collaboration across our region, and the successful applicants, I think, are testament and will increasingly show just what can be achieved when we work together. Just briefly, the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund provides flexible funding to eligible Australian organisations to support approved bilateral and multilateral collaborative projects with select partner countries, so in the priority countries. It's Australian organisations who are eligible and who hold the contract with the Australian government. We know that science and technology exchange can play a very important and increasingly important role in our strategic and diplomatic efforts. particularly in the current world environment. And this program helps deliver that. Our visit to Singapore last December with Minister Husic showed very clearly what sort of impacts are possible. The successful applicants covered areas like medical advancement, energy and sustainability, optimised manufacturing and housing affordability. It was absolutely wonderful to meet with some of the successful applicants, and we look forward to seeing their work as it unfolds over in the coming months. I'll leave it there and pass over to Richard Samuels from the Department of Industry, Science and Resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Lovely to be here. And I just want to start with thanking both you, Anna Maria, the Australian Academy of Science, and Kylie Walker from the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering. The strong collaboration to deliver this program is incredibly important as we embark on the second round. I wanted to associate myself with the acknowledgement of country that you provided, Kylie, and wanted to underscore the Australian government's focus on ensuring diversity, equity and inclusion. It goes to strong commitments the Australian government has made in key policy platforms, including a refresh of our science statement last year. So today we're here to talk about the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund, and it's designed, as Anna Maria said, to be a strategic, flexible and streamlined approach to promote international science and research collaboration and build relationships. It achieves this by providing a competitive mechanism to fund important collaborations through direct and targeted funding. The strategic element supports Australia's national science interests and provides a mechanism for Australia to contribute to our science capability needs of our region. It supports projects that fall under priority themes and partners, which were identified through consultation and collaboration across agencies, ensuring alignment with broader government policies and initiatives. In the inaugural round of the GSTDF, a large volume of quality applications was received, creating a highly competitive round. The top applications were selected following a robust merit-based assessment, and we look forward to receiving another strong group of applications for round 2. In terms of the fund objectives, the intent of the strategic element is to build additional relationships where current collaboration could be strengthened, not to replace long-standing, successful and valuable collaborations. International collaboration is a fundamental component of the work undertaken across our industry, higher education and research sectors. The GSTDF is not the only government funding mechanism to support scientific research in the achievement of these outcomes. The Australian government supports a number of other ways, including grant programs through the Australian Research Council, the National Health and Medical Research Council, our cooperative research centres and other funding sources. Australia derives great benefit from working with stakeholders across the globe and look forward to building our already strong science and research partnerships. In terms of funding, there is a share of $6 million in grant funding available to successful applicants. The value of grant funding per project ranges from $100,000 to $1 million provided to successful applicants. And as Anna Maria underscored, the lead Australian partner organisation. In terms of the selection of priority themes and countries, the themes are the same as the first round: advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, hydrogen production, mRNA vaccines. The current priority partners also remain the same from the first round. They are Brazil, Indonesia, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Partner countries and themes were selected for their alignment to Australian government priorities. It is intended that the priority themes are reviewed annually. There will be, of course, in these application bids, national security considerations. Eligible activities under this grant opportunity may have important national security implications. The Australian applicant will need to identify and outline these implications in the expression of interest and application process and how these risks will be managed. Areas concerning national security risks relate to export controls, foreign interference, and technology transfer. Further information can be accessed in the grant guidelines published on the GLODIP website, as Kylie outlined. Again, just to reiterate the continued focus and collaboration and the role of the Learned Academies, the Australian Academy of Technological Science and Engineering is the contracted delivery partner for the strategic element and works in collaboration with the Australian Academy of Science to deliver the program. The academies are responsible for developing the guidelines for applicants, handling applications as they are submitted, and facilitating assessment of applications. The first round, as we have noted, was highly competitive and underscores the strong appetite for international collaboration. We very much look forward to embarking on the second round. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Richard. That was a great overview. I am not going to go over the 5 priority themes again, but I do want to outline or emphasise, I suppose, that the guidelines elaborate on those themes, as you can see on the current slide. To be eligible, your project must address one of these priority themes, and to be competitive, your project should contribute directly to the relevant field of an endeavour. So the priority theme should be at the core of the project rather than the periphery. It can't be an additional element added to a project that has a different focus. Your project will be assessed, among other things, on the extent to which it aligns with the program objectives. These include how the project will boost Australia's science and technology capabilities through strategic international research and industry collaborations with key international partners in the priority area. How the project will strengthen Australia's international science relationships and bring Australia's reputation as a trusted research and industry partner in the priority area. How the project will promote growth in the Australian economy by supporting international research and industry collaborations to the benefit of Australia in the priority area. And how the project will support the development of science capability in partner countries in the priority area. You can see the theme there, in the priority area. It must be at the heart of your project proposal. With regards to the international partners that you bring to your application, there is an element of regional leadership. So the fund creates opportunities for Australia to lead and help develop new technologies in collaboration with priority countries in our region and around the world. Australia can take a leadership role in fields like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and modern materials for supporting decarbonised industries. We hope that the grant will create new linkages as well and provide grantees with access to international networks, which boost Australians' sovereign capability, Australia's economic growth, and Australia's global science and technology reputation. So the fund aims to support and enhance the position of Australia as a trusted partner for science and technology collaborations for the ongoing benefit of Australia and our innovators, and also to build our regional capacity. We know that international collaboration positively supports innovation, and it also supports our international relationships by creating impactful, personal, organisational and institutional partnerships for mutual benefit. You can see the priority partner countries on the screen there: Brazil, Indonesia, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. Science and technology collaboration are already an important part of Australia's bilateral relationships with each of these partner countries. So this selection of countries offers opportunities to work with and learn best practice from science and technology powerhouses like Japan and Korea, and to partner with emerging countries in our region to support the advancement of their capabilities for mutual benefit. And I think it's a really important point to emphasise that this fund can be leveraged and has the intention to be leveraged to build that regional capability. Every application will be assessed on its merit. There is no quota for any funding to be applied to a particular theme or to a particular country relationship. applicants should consider the capacity of their international partners to deliver on the application's proposal, as well as the value that that relationship will bring to Australia. So each Australian lead applicant must be joined by at least one partner organisation that is domiciled and registered in a priority partner country. Organisations that are subject to the sanctions regimes listed in the program guidelines are ineligible as applicants and as partner organisations. Australian applicants should ensure that your international partners do not include states, organisations or persons who are identified on these sanctions lists. The program objective is to support the development of genuine connections between Australian organisations and those in priority partner countries. As such, partnerships between subsidiary entities are not eligible. This is also true with respect to collaborations between personnel from an Australian university and personnel based at that same university's overseas campus. That is ineligible. Partner organisations will also be assessed in terms of the value that they bring to the project, including their capacity to deliver on proposed activities, as well as the value that the partnership itself brings to Australia's bilateral relationship with the relevant priority partner country. We do welcome multilateral applications. They're very welcome, and applications can have multiple partner organisations from different countries, so long as there is a partner, a key partner listed from a listed priority partner country. That partner must be a significant part of the proposed project. All activities which are supported by grant funds must be undertaken with a partner domiciled and registered in a priority country. So, for example, you might have a trilateral proposal that involves an Australian applicant, a Vietnamese university, and a French company. That would be eligible so long as the Vietnamese university is based in the priority partner country and is a key partner in the tripartite agreement. So I'm going to pass back to Anna Maria now, who will address the application process and a little bit more detail about eligibility.
Thank you. To be very clear, to be eligible to apply, the lead Australian organisation must be a single entity acting on behalf of the partners who have agreed to collaborate on the project and undertake eligible activities that have been outlined in your submission. The lead Australian organisation must meet all of the eligibility criteria, and project collaboration must include at least one primary partner organisation domiciled and registered in a priority partner country. Eligible Australian organisations can apply for funding to support bilateral or multilateral project activities that involve at least one priority partner and one primary priority theme. Collaborations can include non-priority partners, but it is important to note that all activities supported by grant funds must be undertaken with a priority partner. The priority themes and partners are considered equally important to Australia, and there is no preference given to any theme or partner from the priority lists. The project activities that may be eligible for funding are intentionally broad to encourage innovation and support the development of genuine connections between Australian organisations and their primary partners. The type of activities that may be eligible for grant funding include research or commercialisation projects, joint industry research projects, international research or commercialisation conference workshops or symposia, and exchanges and secondments of personnel between Australia and listed priority partners. These are examples of eligible activities, but others may be approved based on compelling arguments in your expressions of interest. Specific details around how funding can be used and what expenses are eligible and ineligible can be found in the program guidelines. In terms of applying, the program has a two-stage application process, beginning with an expression of interest submission. The expression of interest asks the applicant to provide a brief overview of the project, outline how the project contributes to the primary priority theme, and how the projects will deliver national benefits. It's designed to be a concise expression of interest submission, Following assessment of the expression of interest by a panel of leading experts, including fellows of both our academies, the assessment outcomes will be provided to the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, who will select the applicants to be invited to submit a full application. The full application will require additional details to those provided in the EOI submission, including a comprehensive project outline, specifically addressing the criteria outlined in the program guidelines. The full application will also require itemised budget information, letters of support from partner organisations involved in the project, as well as an outline of arrangements for governance, national security and intellectual property rights. Full applications will again be assessed by a panel of independent experts, including fellows of both academies, who will consider how the project aligns with program objectives, the capacity of the lead applicant, that's the Australian organisation, to manage and deliver the project, and the broader national benefits of the project. Several other factors will be considered in the assessment process, and these are outlined in detail in the guidelines. Based on the panel's assessment, a recommendation of projects to be funded will be submitted to the Department of Industry, Science and Resources. The Minister for Industry and Science will make the final decision on which projects will be funded. We have a few tips on how to submit a high quality application and some lessons we have learnt from round one. Submitting a high quality application is absolutely key to a project proposal scoring highly in the assessment process, both at the expression of interest stage and at the full application stage. Please ensure your application clearly and directly addresses the application questions in full, outlining how the project activities and outcomes relate to the intention and objectives of the program. Please make sure that all project partners, including the lead project applicant, meet relevant eligibility criteria and that the proposed project activities align with the program's funding requirements. In your expression of interest, please make sure you clearly outline how your proposed project aligns with the relevant primary priority theme and articulate how the expected outcome and outputs will contribute to the theme. If you're invited to submit a full application, you will be asked to expand on the project's alignment and contribution to the primary priority theme in detail, including addressing governance, budget management, and IP issues. Some of the characteristics of high-quality applications from round one include clear and comprehensive budget justifications, well-articulated roles of each project partner in the proposed activities, and an outline of how the lead applicant will manage the bilateral or multilateral collaboration that is proposed. This information assisted the assessors to understand how the project will support the development of these highly valued collaborative research relationships between Australia and the priority partner countries and address the priority themes. A final tip that I can leave with you is to feel most welcome to reach out to the team who are managing the program. If you have any questions around the program guidelines, requirements, questions with the application forms, or other queries about the program, they are ready to assist and clarify details so that applicants can be of the highest possible quality. We now have time for some questions. Kylie, myself and Richard are available to answer those. So over to you.
Thank you. So I've got a few questions here that have been put in the chat and we've been asked online. So I'm going to try and group them together as much as possible. This one I think is going to be best for Richard. Why are the priority themes and priority countries unchanged in round two? And are there going to be further rounds? And would the priority themes in countries remain the same in those further rounds?
Thank you, Peter. Happy to take the first question, and it's a good one. The Australian government, as I said at the beginning, has identified these priority countries and themes based on a number of important policies. As you would have seen, there's a real focus from Australian government perspective on ensuring that we build regional capability and that we leverage the opportunities coming from Southeast Asia. It is the Global Fund, of course, is part of a broader suite of research and science collaborations. And we do have very strong collaborations already in existence with key markets, including Europe and the United States and others. What we're really seeking out of this fund is to ensure a regional capability uplift and generate science collaborations in areas where we haven't traditionally had strong collaborations. In terms of these two rounds, focusing on the priority partner countries and themes, as we noted, there was a long pipeline of projects under round one, and the 9 successful projects that were announced by Minister Husic show that there is a strong continued platform. So we would like to continue with round 2 as we see a demonstrated need. In terms of the future priorities of the fund, there is the ability for the Australian government to identify changes to priority themes and partners, and this will be reviewed on an annual basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And since we're on the topic of priority countries and themes, is there any weighting for categories of applicants, priority themes or priority countries?
No, there's not. There's no weighting. There's no every single application will be assessed on individual merit. I guess the key things to remember are that obviously your key partner has to be in one of the priority countries, and that the substantive focus of the project must be on a priority theme.
Thank you. And as has been discussed here already, there's obviously a very broad collection of work that can be undertaken as part of these grants. What qualities did the awarded projects, Richard, again, this might be for you, what qualities did the awarded projects have that round 2 applicants should consider when writing proposals for this round from the successful ones last time?
It's a good question that we might all want to have a go at because of the sheer number of applications that were received. But, just want to underscore some of the principles that Kylie and Anna Maria outlined. Yes, there is a raft of activities ranging from, large scale joint collaborations to symposiums and the like. As is the case with any detailed application, we're really looking for a clear articulation of how the research will contribute to the needs of those particular priority areas, how a strong international collaboration will ensure good outcomes for both the Australian partner but the international collaborator. And so it really is a process of due diligence and detail to articulate how your research application will stack up in what is quite a competitive process. But I'll hand over to Kylie and Maria to elaborate.
I guess I would add that, as Anna Maria has emphasised, the assessors are all fellows of the 2 learned academies. So you can expect that it is a sophisticated panel of assessors. And there is technical and scientific expertise on those assessment panels. Having said that, clear language is always welcome because those assessors are not the only people who are reading your applications. And you may find that there are assessors on your applications who are not specifically experts in the disciplines that you are presenting. So there will be experts in those disciplines on the assessment panels, but not every single assessor will be an expert in the same discipline. So please, I would suggest that you pitch your language to a sophisticated audience, but not necessarily a deep expert audience.
I would only add that you take care to address the program objectives clearly, so that when scoring across a large number of applicants, which we expect in round 2, as was the case in round 1, it is very clear how you meet the objectives of the program and the other eligibility criteria. The guidelines are very clear around what you will be assessed against. So please use that as a guide.
Thank you very much for that. Again, trying to scoop up a group of questions in one fell swoop. As collaborating project partners cannot receive direct funding, what benefits do they receive by partnering in a project funded by this grant?
So the lead organisation is an Australian organisation who has entered into a collaborative activity with one other or several other countries, one of which has to be a priority country in a priority area. The benefits of the grant would be shared, distributed as per a project outline and a budget by the lead Australian organisation. So the benefits can be financial, the benefits can be collaborative, the benefits can be in kind, but it is a collaborative research project that is being undertaken by 2 or more partners. So the benefits for all involved should be clear in that collaboration.
Thank you. I think I've got a fairly simple one here. Unsuccessful applicants from round 1 eligible to reapply for round 2?
Yes.
Yes, but please do look at the guidelines. So whilst very little has changed, what the guidelines have done is they've been refined from our learnings from round 1. So for example, there was some confusion around Australian universities that might have campuses abroad. Kylie mentioned earlier that it's the Australian university that's the applicant. The campus abroad isn't the partner organisation. So as a result of some of those learnings, we have tried to make the guidelines more clear. You certainly can reapply. Please do check your application against the guidelines to make sure that anything that may have meant that your application was weakened in the first round is addressed, and that you put forward the clearest and strongest application you possibly can.
Sort of building on that, what is the difference, and to answer some of the questions coming through the chat, what's the difference between the information and supporting material requested at the expression of interest versus the full stage applications? We've had one question as to whether or not we need confirmation of involvement from partner country organisations at the EOI level. So what's the difference between those two, if anyone?
The EOI submission is designed to be really concise and a high-level overview of the proposed project. We've done this on purpose. We want to reduce the administrative burden on applicants, and only a shortlisted number of applicants who are invited to submit a full application will then have to do more work in order to outline their project. So when it comes to that full application, at that point, you will need letters of support, a very detailed budget, all of the governance and risk management consideration, including national security considerations that Richard outlined, but that comes at the full application stage. The expression of interest submission is designed to be concise and high level, but do remember, the case needs to be made clearly and concisely enough to have a chance to advance to that full application stage.
Thank you. Kylie, this one might be for you. Last time the successful applications were all universities. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the question I had here. So any guidelines regarding main applicant, can the main applicants be only be universities, or can they be industry as well? Sorry.
No, that can be any Australian entity. It doesn't have to be a university. The key there is that the applicant, the key applicant, must be the top level of that organisation. It can't be a department or subsidiary of an organisation. But absolutely, I would encourage industry organisations to apply.
I've also had one here that might be good to answer is, can the successful applicant in the round 1 be involved as a partner in round 2? So for example, if the University of Sydney applied in round 2, is that possible? If it's an industry for round 2 as part of round 1, can they apply again, I guess?
So can the can a successful applicant in round 1 be a partner organisation in round 2?
Yes.
To be a partner organisation, you need to be in a priority country. To have been the successful applicant, you need to be Australian. So it doesn't really align. If you have been successful in round 1, you're an Australian organisation, which means you're not a partner country abroad. So I don't know that, so no, but it's not possible anyway because of the definition of who is the lead organisation and who is the partner country. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Hope we've answered your questions. We do reiterate though, the team is available as you work through the process. There will be specific questions you may have. Do contact the team for clarification.
Yeah, I did just want to go back to, I thought that saw a few questions coming through around, you know, what the expected distribution is amongst the different themes and countries. And I do want to come back and re-emphasise that there is no allocation, there are no quotas or weighting applied to any of the themes or any of the partner nations. So they are all treated equally. Every application is assessed on merit.
On that topic, are there any considerations in regards to existing track record with the international partner, or is round 2 also encouraging new international collaboration?
Certainly the program encourages new international collaborations. Generally speaking, in working with collaborative partners, there is some background or history of either collaboration or engagement at some level. So, you know, both would apply, but new collaborations are welcome. The lead Australian organisation needs to have confidence and show confidence in managing that collaboration and seeing it to completion.
I think there are a number of questions about budget and the way that that the grant can be applied. I do encourage you to go and read the guidelines where there is detailed guidance on how budgets should be formulated.
Also under the priority themes, there are questions around what falls under priority themes. The guidelines provide further information under each priority area as to what the scope of that priority area.
Sorry, I'm just trying to come through.
All right, Peter, we're still scrolling while you distill. You're doing a great job. Sorry, we didn't introduce Peter. He's the Director of Policy and International Affairs here at the Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering, and Peter's team works with a number of staff in Anna Maria's team to deliver the Global Diplomacy Fund. I saw another question about detailed feedback. Unfortunately, we are not able to provide detailed feedback to unsuccessful expressions of interest. The sheer volume of applications that we receive under the first stage of the process makes it untenable, unfortunately. But again, what we have done is look at how the guidelines are crafted and the frequently asked questions are crafted to respond to and address common challenges that people experienced with their applications in the first round. So please do go and have a look at those guidelines and read them carefully and make sure that once you've crafted your expression of interest, you do check back against those guidelines.
I've just had a couple of questions about TRLs or basic sciences. Is there any sort of focus on whether this has to be commercial ready work or whether basic sciences can apply? What TRL level are we looking for these projects?
It's all possible. So it can be at the discovery research end right through to the commercial end or commercialization end. So all TRL levels and before that. So please do submit applications that show how your collaboration with a partner country can advance the objectives of the program at that R&D pipeline.
Yeah. And can I just come back to that feedback question, because it has also come up a couple of times. I just wanted to also point out that those applicants who progress to the second stage do receive more detailed feedback and individual feedback. But as mentioned, we can't do that for the first one.
And just to cover some questions because they keep coming in, there is definitely, again, to reiterate, there is no allocation to each stream. These are all mixed together, best available, based on the best merit-based application, regardless of stream.
Correct.
Yep.
There are not a number of projects, funded projects set aside for a particular priority area or a priority country. They are all treated individually. If after the assessment they all end up in more priority areas or countries than others, that's how it falls, but it is based on merit, not on distribution.
Because the other question I've just been asked is whether or not we are looking for larger projects, big picture ones that are all $1 million, or some that are lots of smaller projects.
Again, there's no sort of particular weighting or allocation expected. It really is about the projects that come in. I would suggest it's probably not going to be a good look for everyone to apply for $999,999. Be genuine about the amount that you require to progress your project, and that is more likely to have a warm reception at that first stage of assessment for the EOI round. And the eligible activities for funding they're quite broad. So you might have a bilateral or a multilateral research project. You might have a joint industry research, international conferences and workshops, personnel exchanges, product development, commercialisation activities. I guess the key that we will keep coming back to is that those activities must align with the priority themes and have those at least one of those themes at the centre, and must involve at least one partner organisation from one of the priority countries, and that partner organisation must be a key partner, can't just be a kind of bolt-on to the side. Projects need to be between 1 and 3 years in length, as we've mentioned already, and they must be sufficiently substantive to meet the program objectives. So, for example, a single international conference or workshop would probably not succeed. It probably would not be considered likely to meet the program objectives.
Thank you. Many of the questions we're getting now are things that we've answered already and previously. So I would encourage anyone who's not going to get their question answered in this particular round to please go back and watch the recording. We are also happy to take questions and provide answers via emails. I think I have one last one though, which is whether or not there are going to be future rounds for this particular project and how often. I think, Richard, that's probably a you question.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. So yes, there is, of course, ongoing funding to support future rounds, and I've really appreciated being part of this briefing and some of the questions that have been asked, because I want to underscore a couple of things. First of all, the questions that go to the spread of applications across the themes and the points made already in terms of we're absolutely prioritising a merit-based process. There are no quotas. But some of the questions are really important insofar as they inform the development of future rounds. So you would have seen, to answer your question sort of from a blunt perspective, the outcomes of round 1, we saw applications covering just 2 of the 5 themes, so advanced manufacturing and hydrogen. And so what we wanted to do in terms of running 2 rounds that cover the same themes and countries is to then undertake a bit of an assessment and lessons learned around what is the spread of applications and why is that the case. So to answer your question, and there was some good ones there around, TRL readiness, whether this fund supports research as opposed to commercialisation projects. The answer, of course, is everything is, it's all up for grabs, but we will be using the outcomes of these 2 rounds to inform the developments of the new rounds, and we look forward to seeing, again, an evidence base coming out of the meritorious applications for round 2. But yes, there is money earmarked for future rounds, but we'll go through a process of evaluating the outcomes, and that will inform the development of new rounds, including an assessment of both the priority partner countries, but also the themes. Thanks.
So I think we're coming to the end of our session. Thank you again so much, everybody, for taking the time to join us and to ask your excellent questions. Just to recap a couple of the key points, those grants are between $100,000 and $1 million, and they're available to Australian applicants to undertake strategic collaborative projects with international partners with a primary focus on one of our priority themes and a primary partner in one of our priority countries. You can see the key dates on screen there. I'll read them out for accessibility purposes. I do want to note, though, that these dates may change a little, but if that is going to be the case, we will make sure that that is clearly communicated on the website. So the date that's not going to change is the close of applications for expressions of interest. So EOIs are closing on the 4th of May this year. In July, we will call for full applications from those successful applicants to the EOI. And in August, and again, we'll communicate this to the successful applicants to stage 2, in August, their full applications will be due. We are hoping and intending to announce the final outcomes in October. So if you've got any more questions after today, I would encourage you first to go back and read the guidelines in detail. Secondly, to rewatch this webinar. Many of the questions that have come up in the question and answer box have been answered through the webinar. So please do go back and rewatch. And then finally, if you can't find the answer to your question through reading the guidelines and rewatching the webinar, then the last recourse is to email the team. That's info@glodip, glodip.org.au. But please do look at the guidelines and the webinar first before you email the team. As you can imagine, with hundreds of applications in round 1, we are expecting that there may be similar interest in this round. The recording will be uploaded onto ATSI's YouTube channel as well as to the Global Science and Technology Diplomacy Fund website. And that's it from us today. Thank you so much to Richard. Thank you to Anna Maria for co-hosting this session. And thank you very much to all of you for joining us, for participating and for showing your interest in this important fund. Good luck with your applications. We look forward to reading them.